I mean, listen, he sent me loads of DMs talking. He even sent me a contract to box a few years ago. I wasn't interested. I've got one eye. I'm older. I'm 46. I don't need the money. I don't need to fight anymore. Even though, you know, I would kind of entertain it because I do feel like I could still compete.
No, he's never been, he's been arrested for it, but he hasn't, like, done jail time for it. But we all know he has his struggles with this. So I don't know why this is written up as if Jake didn't know this about him already. I just think, you know, this just be karma for people, that's all. It just be karma.
You gotta be the dumbest dude, in the history of boxing, bro. $40 million, dog, down the drain. You gotta be the dumbest dude I've ever seen in the history of boxing, bro. Seriously. I'm like, $40 million, bro. Wealth. Literally wealth, bro. Going down the drain.
Like, we would think about you, to fight Jake. I'm like, what? I'm like, who's Jake? I was so confused. I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that.
You won't believe what Claressa Shields just said about Jake Paul. She didn't hold back, calling him out for hypocrisy after his fight with Gervonta Davis got cancelled.
Nate Diaz is ducking me in MMA.
That would be such a fun build-up.
How do you see that fight going for Jake?
It's a winnable fight for you. I really do think that, but Nate is so... You would have to do what I did against Aljo and Marab. Not let that motherfucker grab you. Not that you can't wrestle, because I know you can wrestle.
That's exactly how I feel about it. If I don't get guillotined, then I win the fight. Because he's also the weakest puncher I've ever fought.
Really?
When he was hitting me, I almost started laughing. I'm not even saying this to talk shit.
Fans were already questioning the matchup of Tank versus Jake, mostly because of the huge size difference between Paul and Davis, but when the fight was officially cancelled, Paul went on the offensive. He posted a statement blaming Davis, calling him a bad business partner, and apologizing to everyone involved, his team, undercard fighters, and his fans. He wrote, "I didn't want to give this woman abuser a platform to grow his fans and to grow his bank account. My company champions women. I'm so sorry to everyone involved, mostly to the undercard fighters, to my team at MVP, and to my team who worked so hard prepping for this fight." Paul didn't stop there. He described Davis as unprofessional, pointing to his multiple arrests, legal issues, and lateness on set. He painted a picture of Davis as a nightmare to work with, which sparked even more debate among fans. He wrote, "Gervonta Davis is an actual walking human piece of garbage. Working with him is an absolute nightmare. The unprofessionalism, the bizarre requests, the showing up hours late to shoots, to the numerous arrests and related accusations and lawsuits. If you support this man, you support the most wild sin a man can commit." But Shields wasn't impressed. She fired back, saying the issues Paul brought up about Davis were well known before the fight even happened.
I'm not gonna say I 100% agree with what Jake said, but what I would say is that we all know Tank background with domestic violence before this fight got made. Before any of his fights get made, we already know he has, and he got some issues with this. So it's not his first, second, or even third time with something like this coming out, or whatever the case may be. No, he's never been he's been arrested for it, but he hasn't done jail time for it. But we all know he has his struggles with this. So I don't know why this is written up as if Jake didn't know this about him already. That's one thing I don't like.
Speaking on X Spaces, Shields said she didn't fully agree with everything Paul said, but the timing of his comments bothered her. Davis had multiple accusations of domestic violence and other illegal troubles, including an arrest earlier this year that affected his rematch with Lamont Roach. Shields asked a simple question: why bring up Davis's past only after the fight was canceled? Everyone knew this information beforehand.
Secondly, to say he's the most vile human being, blah, 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 blah. None of this is being said till this stuff came out. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know. And I just think, you know, this just be karma for people, that's all. It just be karma.
According to Shields, Paul was just taking the moral high ground after the fight fell through, and it didn't sit right with her. Shields' criticism makes sense when you look at it. Paul chose Davis as his opponent. The controversies weren't a secret. Calling someone only out after the deal collapses looks opportunistic. That's why Shields' words carried weight. Fans respected that she called out Paul for inconsistency and for trying to rewrite the story after the fact.
The circus has been canceled. Damn. Look, man, I feel bad for a lot of people connected to this, man. You know, I know a lot of people that's supposed to be working this, man, and I feel bad for you, man. I do. I feel bad for them because they was going to get a nice, pretty penny, you know what I'm saying, to be working for this MVP Promotions. But, look, is Tank really the one to blame? Look, Tank, let's get on Tank real quick. You got to be the dumbest dude, in the history of boxing, bro. $40 million, dog, down the drain. You got to be the dumbest dude I've ever seen in the history of boxing, bro. Seriously. I'm like, $40 million, bro.
But Paul isn't slowing down. He's still reportedly aiming to headline a Netflix boxing card before the end of the year, with potential dates of December 12th to 19th. And there's a twist. Nate Diaz has confirmed he's stepping up to fight Jake Paul. Diaz, who has 1-1 in professional boxing, lost a unanimous decision to Paul back in 2023. Fans are buzzing about the rematch, especially now that the Davis fight is off the table. He wrote on Instagram, "Fight accepted, you're dead." Meanwhile, after the cancellation, Paul spoke about Diaz on social media. He showed respect for Diaz stepping in on short notice, but also highlighted how tough it is to get fights with top-level athletes. His message was clear: Diaz is an option, but he's also keeping his focus on making headlines. Andre Most Valuable Promotion Instagram post, Paul addressed the possibility directly. Nate Diaz is a G. It isn't meant to be, but respect for willing to step up on 2 weeks' notice. So many at the top of the sport with excuses. Meanwhile, Paul explored other replacements. UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou reportedly got a call to step in, but he declined. Ngannou said the matchup didn't make sense because of the weight difference, and he didn't want to be involved in something illogical. He told TMZ he felt disrespected by even being considered, showing how seriously fighters take these decisions.
How can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Come on, like the weight different and everything. It make no sense. It make no sense. Nikisa reached out the other day and tell me how they need a replacement for Gervonta. Then I say, okay, what can I do for you? He said, yeah, we're looking for a replacement, but I still haven't get it. I was like, okay, then what exactly can I do for you? Like, we think about you, the fact Jake. I'm like, what? I'm like, which Jake? I was so confused. I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number.
Michael Bisping also weighed in, and while he doesn't plan to fight again, he said he might consider stepping into the ring with Paul under the right circumstances. Bisping's input shows how closely fighters and analysts are watching Paul's next move, and how carefully they consider the risks of taking on someone with Paul's unique profile.
I mean, listen, he sent me loads of DMs talking shit. He even sent me a contract to box a few years ago. I wasn't interested. I've got one eye. I'm older. I'm 46. I don't need the money. I don't need to fight anymore, even though, you know, I would kind of entertain it because I do feel like I could still compete. But I wasn't interested at the time, and I'm not interested now. And none of this is motivated from any kind of jealousy or whatever. But even the fact I'm saying that makes it sound like it is, which is just hilarious, and that's the world that we live in.
The story around Paul, Shields, and Diaz's fans buzzing. Shields' call out, Paul's social media antics, and Diaz's confirmation for a rematch make this one of the most talked about boxing situations of the year. It also shows how modern boxing isn't just about what happens in the ring. Public perception, social media, and fan reactions all play a big role in matchmaking decisions.
Gervonta Davis really did take the piss. I mean, that was just the craziest shout ever. To go from fighting Gervonta Davis to now boxing Francis Ngannou. I mean, listen, if he does it, fair play. But I just call #1 bullshit on this brother. I don't see this happening.
From Shields' point of view, Paul's timing and selective criticism make him look inconsistent. She's essentially saying that if you're going to call out someone, do it consistently. Holding Davis accountable only after canceling the fight undermines credibility. At the same time, Chael Sonnen has expressed his opinion, stressing that Jake Paul versus Francis Ngannou must happen.
When Francis says fighting Jake Paul wouldn't make sense, well, what in hell do you think Tyson Fury got for boxing you? These aren't mean things from me. This is a reality. Tyson Fury knew knew there was a check. Name one person you'd rather see Jake Paul fight. And Francis Ngannou is a real challenge. How Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, Anderson Silva, Mike Tyson, how those aren't real challenges, I don't know. But this is the story as we're told. And do you see where that would satisfy so much? Do you see where that would force even the biggest hater to be quiet? And my job for something to make sense is the biggest check against the easiest opponent. I cannot think of anything I would rather see Jake and Francis do.
As the story develops, multiple threats keep fans glued. Shields' critic, Paul's taunts on social media, Diaz stepping back into the ring, and the rejection by Ngannou. Analysts like Cormier and Bisping add perspective, showing how ethics, strategy, and credibility matter in modern fight promotions.
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
What's the word we debate or argue? Arguably. What's the other word? Arguably. I think he just might be arguing. He arguably won. But dude, Francis, that would be scary. I would actually be kind of scared for Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Terrence would be kind of scary too.
Yep. What do you think of Ryan? I feel like Ryan is a comparable trade out for Gervonta.
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes sense.
What do you think that matchup happens between those
It'd
two?
be interesting. I feel like Ryan would be a harder fight than Gervonta.
I would say so.
They're the same way
size-wise.
Gervonta beat Ryan.
Shields' criticism, Paul's responses, and Diaz's willingness to fight again make this narrative even more compelling. It's a mix of sport, drama, and strategy that keeps fans engaged. Paul's next fight, his interactions with potential opponents, and Shields' observations all contribute to a story about accountability, ethics, and spectacle in boxing.
You gotta be the dumbest dude, in the history of boxing, bro. $40 million, dog, down the drain. You gotta be the dumbest dude I've ever seen in the history of boxing, bro. Seriously. I'm like, $40 million, bro.
In short, this story has it all: controversy, drama, high stakes, and some of the biggest names in combat sports. Shields' voice adds credibility to the conversation, Paul's provocations keep the hype alive, and Diaz's willingness to fight promises an exciting showdown. The December fight, if it happens, will be the culmination of weeks of speculation and will give fans, analysts, and fighters alike something to finally react to inside the ring.
I'm not just interested. He make no sense for me.
Is it flattering at least that they're thinking about you?
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful instead. What flattering? Come on.
And that's the full picture. From Shields' bold statements to Paul's controversial moves and Diaz stepping back into the ring, this story is shaping up to be one of the most talked about moments in boxing this year. Fans are already debating, predicting, and anticipating what happens next, proving once again that in modern boxing, the story outside the ring is just as important as the fights inside it.
He gets to box Tyson Fury. Then he gets to go up against Anthony Joshua. Sure, didn't go his way, but he would have got paid an absolute fortune. And there is a man that tested himself. And then he gets to go up against Jake Paul. That is three of the biggest boxing paydays that you could have in this generation. So fair play to the guy. Jesus Christ, I imagine the purse would be absolutely gigantic. And for Jake Paul, it would almost kind of be worth that calculated risk, because it would be a lose-lose. Because even if he did lose, which he would, people would be like, well, but look at the balls on him. Look at the balls. But he might get hurt, he might get knocked out. And boxing is not a joke.
And that's the latest from the world of Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, and Claressa Shields. And amid this is Francis Ngannou, a fighter who has not shown any interest, but to many, he's the one who can beat Jake Paul. Who do you think will come out on top if the rematch of Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz happens? Drop your predictions in the comments below, smash that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest fight updates, hot takes, and exclusive analysis. Stay tuned because the drama is far from over.